Hey there, Cowboys Nation. Welcome to Dallas Cowboys Fan, your ultimate destination for all things America's team. Whether you bleed blue and silver or are just starting to catch Cowboys fever, this is the place. If you are a diehard fan, please make sure to subscribe for more latest news and updates of your favorite team. Today, we've got a packed update for you with all the latest on some key injuries heading into the big matchup against the Washington Commanders. Plus, we'll break down what to expect from this Thanksgiving week showdown. If you're a Cowboys fan, or even just an NFL junkie, hit that subscribe button, smash the like, and let's get into it. First up, the injury front. It's never fun to see this many crucial players on the report, but here we are. Let's start with wide receiver Brandin Cooks. After a breakout performance in recent weeks, Cooks has been dealing with some minor tweaks. The good news? Early reports suggest it's nothing major. He's been limited in practice, but the coaching staff is optimistic about his availability for the Commanders game. If Cooks suits up, his speed and playmaking ability will be a critical factor in stretching the Washington defense. Next, we've got cornerback DaRon Bland. What a season he's having, right? Bland has been a revelation in the Cowboys secondary, stepping up big time in the absence of Trayvon Diggs. Unfortunately, Bland popped up on the injury report this week with a sore hamstring. Hamstrings can be tricky, especially for defensive backs who rely on explosive speed and quick cuts. The Cowboys medical team is being cautious, but there's hope he'll be ready to go. If not, the depth in the secondary will be tested, which could open up opportunities for Washington's receivers. Now, let's talk about the offensive line, starting with Zack Martin. This guy is the rock of the Cowboys' O-line, a future Hall of Famer, and absolutely essential to keeping Dak Prescott upright. Martin has been dealing with a nagging ankle injury that's limited him in practice. While he's played through injuries before, you have to wonder if he's at 100%. A banged-up Zack Martin is still better than most linemen in the league, but if he's not at his peak, it could make life harder for the Cowboys' offense. Speaking of the offensive line, we can't forget Tyler Smith. The second-year lineman has been a key piece for Dallas, showing versatility and dominance at both guard and tackle. Unfortunately, he's been nursing a knee issue that has some fans concerned. Like Martin, Smith has been limited in practice, and the coaching staff is monitoring his status closely. The Commanders' defensive line, led by Jonathan Allen and Daron Payne, is no joke. If Smith isn't at full strength, or worse, if he can't play, it could be a long day for Doc and the offense. So, with all these injury concerns, what does this mean for the Cowboys heading into their matchup with the Commanders? For starters, it means the next man up mentality will be more important than ever. This is the time for backups and role players to shine. Guys like Tyrone Smith and Chuma Edoga may need to step up on the offensive line, while younger defensive backs could see increased snaps if Bland can't go. The Commanders may not have the best record, but they're not a team to overlook. Quarterback Sam Howell has shown flashes of brilliance this season, and his connection with receivers like Terry McLaurin and Jahan Dotson has been a bright spot for Washington. The Cowboys' defense will need to bring the pressure, especially if Bland isn't 100%. That means Micah Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence could play an even bigger role in disrupting Howell and keeping him uncomfortable in the pocket. Offensively, the Cowboys have to stick to their identity. That means a balanced attack featuring Tony Pollard in the run game, CeeDee Lamb in the passing game, and a healthy dose of play action to keep the Commanders' defense guessing. If Brandin Cooks is good to go, he could be the X factor, adding a vertical threat that opens things up for everyone else. One thing to watch for is how the Cowboys handle short yardage situations. This has been a point of inconsistency for the team this season, and with a potentially banged-up offensive line, it could be even more challenging. Expect to see creative play calling from Mike McCarthy, an offensive coordinator Brian Schottenheimer, to mitigate the impact of any injuries. The Cowboys are also playing with momentum. Coming off a dominant win against the Carolina Panthers, the team is riding high. This game is a chance to keep that momentum going while also making a statement in the NFC playoff race. A win here would solidify the Cowboys' position as a top contender, while a loss could raise more questions about their ability to handle adversity. Now let me paint a picture of what we're getting with player name. This guy is a game changer, plain and simple. Whether you've been following him since his college days or caught glimpses of his brilliance in the NFL, one thing is clear: he's an elite talent. Last season alone, he racked up insert key stats here. He's fast, he's physical, and he's exactly what the Cowboys needed to address one of their biggest weaknesses. For too long, we've been talking about the gaps in our roster, the areas where we've fallen short when it really mattered. Well, not anymore. And speaking of the league, let's talk about how this impacts the NFC East. We all know the Eagles had an incredible season last year. They were the team to beat, and we came so close to taking them down. But now, with player name in the mix, the balance of power is shifting. The Giants and Commanders are trying to rebuild, but let's be real, they don't have the firepower to keep up with what the Cowboys are building right now. This signing puts us firmly in the driver's seat. The NFC East is ours for the taking. But it's not just the division. This move puts the entire NFL on notice. The Cowboys are tired of hearing about how it's been decades since their last Super Bowl win. Tired of being the butt of jokes about postseason collapses. This signing is a clear message to the league. The Dallas Cowboys are back, and they're here to win it all. Finally, let's talk about the fans. It's Thanksgiving week, and this game is part of one of the NFL's most cherished traditions. The Cowboys always shine on the holiday stage, and you can bet a TNT stadium will be rocking. The energy from the crowd could be a huge advantage for Dallas, especially if the game comes down to a critical moment in the fourth quarter. So, to recap, the Cowboys have some big question marks on the injury front, but the outlook isn't all doom and gloom. If guys like Brandin Cooks, DaRon Bland, Zack Martin, and Tyler Smith can suit up even at less than 100%, the Cowboys have more than enough firepower to handle the Commanders. The key will be execution, discipline, and leaning on their stars to deliver in the clutch. That's all for today's update. What do you think, Cowboys fans? Are you worried about the injuries, or do you think this team has what it takes to overcome the adversity? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more Cowboys content. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next video. Let's go, Cowboys.